So hi everybody and welcome back to the C++ tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 236 and in this video we continue with our exercise. I hope you trained a lot of these principles, 10-finger writing, and don't worry if you don't know them perfect or at all right now, because it is important that you hear of them, and when you get better and better in future you will hear more of them, because that's very important when you get better. But right now it's even more important that you know the keywords, and that's why we continue now with our exercise directly, and I stopped here with the insert function. But before that, I have also another problem. What is the other problem? So the other problem is my login function. We will talk this in a moment. And why is this a problem? Because when we read here our algorithm, which we wrote for our insert function, I can see it says here on the first line, user should choose mode. Here insert. Okay, that makes absolute sense, because we want to give the user an instruction on the screen so he can choose. But the problem is I have never used a mode. And that means after we logged in, we have to create a user mode. So where also an option screen where the user can just choose one of these functions which he wants to perform. And before that, we have to change also our login, let's say class a little bit, because this class here, let's watch this, is not good. So let's examine this a little bit more in detail. So you can see I have here created a login object because we have already created a login class. Let me press here F12 to jump to the class, and you can see here this class was also made very fast, and right now you should see that this class is made bad. Why is this bad instantly? There are almost no comments. This is the first reason you can see that this class is not very good. And there are other reasons as well. For example, here this variables are, some variables are public, some private, and they are not all right. But we will not talk right now about the class directly. We will optimize this a little bit later perhaps, but right now we are concentrating on this part of the login system. Why is this bad here? So we have again a object. I created here a variable which with the type login, which is the class which we created, and then I use this object here in my while loop in my main function. And what is the problem here? This is the first question, and the answer is why I am doing this separately, because now I scatter the code a little bit, which is unnecessary, which means I could use this while loop within this login class, and then I would not separate the code, because this one belongs in the login class. Like I said, we try to yes, we try to collect code together what belongs together, so that we have not scattered code around all places and think too much, which means we should just convert this class in our login class. You can see in our login class we have already functions here, and we have even here the constructor which we can use. So we can call this one in our login class. How we call this in our login class? The easiest way is just copy this one. Let's copy this one here and put it in our class. Control C. And the question is now where? You have different options. One, you can use the constructor. Here is a body, and when it starts you can call it here. Or you can make a separate function so that it's a little bit more readable, and the constructor is calling this. So you can do what you want. So let's do this here with a separate function, just in case perhaps we call it later again for any purpose. And that's why let's call this here void call login, something like that. Call login, yeah, that's enough. Call login, and let's paste this one here. And again, we repeated here a function. What is this? We have a void with no return type. Call login is our function name. Why is this bad what I made? Yes, we need, of course, a comment. Let's write a comment again fast. What is the reason? Also, this comment should ask what for what I make this one here. And let's say calls the login on construction, and you can see this comment here has nothing to do with the name. I mean, it's different than what you can see here, and the reason is this should ask this should answer the question for what I make this here, because we can see it is a function, we can see it is a call login, but here I describe more of why I make it. And I say here call the login on construction. So the new information is actually on construction, because here you can't see it is on construction. Later I will put it here in a constructor, this login. Let's do it here. Call login, something like this. Ugh. Oh no. Okay, we have this one, call login, and yeah, let's copy this one more time. I think I have just, and it should paste this first in. So let's paste this one in, and we have some arrows, and the arrows mean just right now we are in the login class, so we don't need here this object. Outside of the class we needed an object. You can see here I have to create this object and then get access to the variables. Right now I'm in the class, which means I don't need the object name here. I can access them directly, which means we just get here, this is my login. And again, same problem like before, and this return 0 works here not. And the reason for that is because this return 0 works only in the main function. Here we can use something else. Let's use exit 0, and exit means just let's see, it was std exit. Why is this not working? Exit, here is it. Okay, now I don't know. So now it's working, and you can see this one works only. The reason why I use here exit, because I want not that you should continue after you have 3 fail attempts. That's why you should not work right here return, because here will return not work. Let's say I call later here create a login class. The login is calling automatically this login, and then if you fail you should just exit this main menu, but we can't use return 0 because we are not calling it within main. That's why I use here exit, and this word exit is probably not absolute right. We have to talk about this one. Why is this not right? Let's write a comment. It's not perhaps good, but let's use it in this case. Exit is not good because static calls work not good. Something like that. We can call this one. This is just an indicator comment, so that we have to think about if we really use here exit instead of something else. And the short answer is I write here it's not good because I think if you have, for example, in your class static variables, I don't have, but if you have, then the static variables need to be destroyed separately in a different way most time. Yeah, the reason is if you call here exit, the compiler will not automatically free the memory of static variables. That's why I wrote this one here. And another thing, again, you can see we have here now some comments. Let's see if this is good. Here, that was for constructor call. Here we have it. Here, password attempts. Okay, that's working. Why we have this one. And here we have again some different kind of comments. We should write here a little bit comments why I have here login account and why I have this one here. Yeah, you can write this. Let's write this login account. Again, press F12 to jump fast in. You can see no comment here. Very bad. I have here something. This one is nothing worth. And here, no comments at all. So with other words, I don't know what this is. So let's, and you can see if I have no comments here, and even I know it is a login account, now I have still to check what this code is more or less doing. And yeah, it's this one here, for example, is just for getting user input. Also it's more or less here the user input, and then it's calling here the check the user input, and more like this one. So, and then I have here another function, login attempts. Now, right, let's write this one here. Here, login account checks user input checks user input. As a comment, for example, you can see again this comment is not describing what the login account is doing. It is more for what I need this one here. Here it describes, yes, checks the user input. And you could say, why not write here check user input here directly? You might be right here, but it is a login account. And yeah. And the user input is actually here another function call. You can see that's the reason why I have not here I have here not user input check, because here I check the user input database after I get, for example, the check name result and so on. All right, so you can see sometimes it's tricky just to understand it with the name, so that's why this comments helps a lot. Even this one is more or less clear. Okay, so let's go on. So we get a little bit better. The question is now, is this working or not? We can test this, but before we can test this, let's write here also a comment again. Here is no comment. Let's write it. Should start login should all time start when created. Okay, 9. Login should all time check when created. Okay, this, for example, is okay. Here again, no comment, but right now I just write constructor. But of course this one is here also not a good description, but it's okay. Constructor is okay here. And you can see my code has a lot of holes, but like I said before, we can learn a little bit more. And all the other ones, no comments. Oh, yes. And so, but how we can test this now? We can just get rid of this one. The best way is before you delete it, we have to test it, right? That's why we comment it out first. So Control T and Control C. So you can see it's our, we have commented it now. Now we can make a test run, and this one should already work now. We just create an object. You can see we have here just my login, and my login should call now here the constructor. The constructor should call here our function. And by the way, is this constructor here looks a little bit strange, right? What I mean with that is it has parameters here, but when I call here my login, it has no parameters at all. Why is this possible? There's a little bit of repetition. And the reason why it's possible, this one, it looks not like it, but it is a default constructor. Why is this a default constructor? We have I already told you that, I hope you know it. And if all parameters have a default value, but it's very important that every parameter has a default value, then this constructor can be treated as a default constructor. Because if you don't provide any parameters, like I did here, I provide nothing, then this constructor provides this default values as an input automatically. And this one is our just direct initialization in the constructor. And yeah, that's it. All right, let's test this one. We start here our little function. We test it. Okay, it starts. Let's make the wrong input here 3 times because we can see if this works. Okay, the 3 times failed. Try contact admin. That works. We was kicked out. That was expected. And let's try it one more time with the right one. Coder A. That's okay too. And our next step is in our next video now that we create this user mode, and the user mode is here. This first line here, user should choose mode. Here I only changed this login. So I think that's it for this video. If you have any questions or any comments like all time, write in the comment section, and see you in the next video. Bye, good luck, and like all time, have fun and never give up.